Hello, this is the PixelBlips Podcast for July 29th. I'm Andy Ryan, that's Dave DeWert. Dave, what are you playing?
Not a whole lot this week. I turned on my PS3 it was Wednesday night, Thursday morning, something like that, and apparently I got into the Little Big Planet karting beta.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it feels a lot like Mario Kart with Sackboy.
Which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing. And I was playing around with it today. Like, you know, it's a beta, so it's real small. It's real focused testing on different stuff. But, you know, they have your standard, you know, do laps, all that. And they also have the battle modes that Mario Kart 64 had. Like,
Don't they all have battle mode?
yeah, they do.
My Super Nintendo one does.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo one. But, you know, so it has the battle mode. And I was surprised by that because I didn't know you could, you know, they had it in there. I was just, you know, messing around with what was there.
So how are the loading times?
I mean, it's all off the hard drive, so they're not bad. It's not like Mod Nation where you sit there for 10 minutes, do a race, sit there.
Because that's the one thing everyone's asking, like, do we really need a Little Big Planet karting? Sony already has Mod Nation, and that's the one area in Mod Nation that I feel could be improved upon.
Yeah, it was the loading times.
Super long loading times.
I had always heard that they were really terrible.
They are.
I did not play Mod Nation, but
I come from the Sega CD era of video
long
gaming.
load times, man.
Long load times is a relative fact to, well, at least I didn't, you know, get up, get a sandwich, balance my checkbook, and come back before level 1 loaded.
Yeah, and they're not too bad. I've had fun with it so far. I don't know if you can play co-op, like same screen co-op. I know you can play with the other beta testers.
I'm sure you could.
And I've done that. And I'm sure you could too. I don't know. I asked the missus, it's like, hey, you want to try this out? Okay. And then I was sitting there trying to figure out how you get another one in. But, you know, I didn't play.
But it's a beta, so.
Yeah, it's a beta, so it's not full featured, anything like that. But it's, you know, you get to customize your car, you get to customize your Sackboy. That's all kind of cool stuff.
Everyone loves customizing their sack.
That's right.
Boy.
I love customizing my Sack.
Anything else?
Boy. Still working on Assassin's Creed a little bit. I, you know, got a Super Nintendo knockoff system. I can't play the Final Fantasy VI that you got me in Japan.
Does the cart not fit?
It does not take Famicom carts. It only takes Super Nintendo and...
I can fix that.
Oh, I'm sure you can. You just take a Dremel and pop out those notches. But
unless, like, the plastic casing of it is made so it won't accept the rounded bellies.
No. You can get it in the slot. It just won't get... Yeah. It's got the 2 notches on the back. And I played around with my N64. I was just kind of set it up, and I think my Ocarina of Time card is bad. So...
Sorry.
That's okay.
Do you want a funeral service? For the greatest game of all time?
That makes me sad, because I have Majora's,
Is it the greatest game of all time?
It's,
I think, like,
it's one of the best N64 games.
That's true. So here's the thing with my feelings of Ocarina of Time. It's a really great game.
Yes.
That was really popular. So while there are games out there that are better, they never get enough votes.
Yeah, they weren't as popular as Ocarina. It's a Nintendo first-party game.
I would say that my favorite Legend of Zelda is probably Link to the Past to this day.
I
also like Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. I had that on my Game Boy.
The GBA version of the first Game Boy game was pretty good. I don't know about the Game Boy, you know, what was it? Oracle of Time and...
No, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages.
Seasons and Ages.
I have Ages somewhere. I played it for a long time.
They were good, but it was more like, it kind of felt like Pokemon with me.
Well,
where
you know who made that?
The same guy.
No.
Who?
Capcom.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Capcom was in charge of both of those Oracle games. I think they were in charge of Link's Awakening, and they were in charge of Four Swords. Basically, most of the portable Links up until the DS were Capcom.
Yeah. But those, it was a good game.
They don't make shitty games.
No, they don't. But it felt weird because Oracle of Ages and Seasons seemed like it should be one game.
Yeah, but the cart is this big.
I understand. So you had to buy 2 games in order to get the whole story.
Well, no, like I said, weird. I played Ages, and you get enough of it, and it's not like there are parts missing. There's a story here, and there's a story again, and then when you play them both together, they interweave.
Yeah.
It's not like Shining Force for the Sega CD, where there's one chapter, a totally separate chapter, and then if you play both of the separate chapters, you unlock the 3rd chapter, which is how the 2 of them fit together.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's pretty much it. I really haven't had a lot of time for gaming this week.
Neither have I. I've been super busy.
Yeah.
But I have gotten around to playing a bunch of stuff on my Vita, just because I always have my Vita with me So, doctor's offices and stuff like that.
It's downtime at work.
Yeah. I'm still playing through that Vita Challenge Tower on Mortal Kombat, and I've gotten above 140, and it's gotten to the point where I'm just skipping challenges.
No, I don't want to.
I'm just paying the money. This is broken. I am not this this level of player. I can't get this.
You're not gonna get this in short notice. So yeah.
Yes. Let's see what else. I played a bunch of Dyad.
Yeah.
The problem with Dyad is you can't play it during the day because you kind of need to be in a dark space.
Yeah, because it's bright enough and hard enough to see.
But I did play a bunch of Dyad, and I got to that. The last time we talked about that window where you just kind of everything else melts away and it's just doing the game. And I've really gotten into that window a lot.
Good.
And the game does a good job of incentivizing and showing you that you're in that window. You're doing a good enough job that you're obviously melding with this experience.
You're doing really well here. Have more fun with it.
But most of the things I've been playing a lot of retro games. I've been playing through Super Mario 3 on the Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World cart on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Just because I read somewhere that someone told me stuff's different. So far, nothing's different.
It's just
still Super Mario 3.
Doesn't it have a palette swap?
Still genius.
They gave it the Super Nintendo graphics on that one, right?
Not really. I mean, they're
it's like a half step up. Yeah,
if here's the Super Mario 3 and then here's Super Mario World, it's about in this area.
Okay.
The Mario sprite isn't as detailed, and the background.
But it's like
the
that
backgrounds
with all
are.
Of them.
Yeah, it is. But the backgrounds are more detailed. They look better. But it's still the same game.
Yeah, okay.
As far as I can tell.
Because
if there's a list of changes somewhere, I can't.
I played it once, 10 years ago, and I don't remember there being any difference. I just remember it was basically a graphical facelift for those 3 games. Plus, did you get the one with lost levels?
Yes.
Okay.
They all have lost levels. There's 2 cartridges, for those of you who don't know. There's 2 Super Nintendo Super Mario All-Stars cartridges. There is one that has Super Mario 1 through 3 and the lost levels. And then there's one that came out later with the second version of the Super Nintendo that has 1 through 3, the lost levels, and Super Mario World, which is the one I bought.
Yeah, and I like Super Mario World. I might, hit up one of those aftermarket places.
I would probably say Super Mario World is my favorite, but I like the variety in Super Mario 3. Yeah. That and the Karuba shoe.
Why not?
Is there another argument we need to make?
No,
Super Mario World does not have the Karuba shoe. Therefore, it is not perfect.
No.
Hide in the boot.
Suit.
Super Mario World doesn't have the Tanuki suit.
No, but Mario 3 does.
Mario 3. So there we go. 2 arguments against Super Mario World being the best Super Mario Brothers. Let's see, what else am I playing? I'm also playing a bunch of SNK games, because I like SNK games.
Well, who doesn't?
I've gotten real into Fatal Fury, or as it's known, Real Bout.
Okay.
I think is the Japanese name for it. Yeah. And it's the 3-on-3 version that came out before King of Fighters.
Okay.
So I'm getting into that. I really like that. But I'm also playing a bunch of Sonic's Sega Genesis Collection, Sonic's Ultimate Sega Genesis Collection, the best value in gaming. I crap you not.
I almost bought that on the PSN.
Yes, this is genius. 40 plus of the best Sega Genesis games developed by Sega. Also some Master System games. If you're a big fan of RPGs, you can get from Phantasy Star 1 all the way through Phantasy Star 4 on this.
Are you sure?
Yes, Phantasy Star 1 is unlockable.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because initially it was.
No, Dave, I'm full of shit. I've just been playing that game for the last week.
You are full of shit.
But it also has 2 of my favorite franchises on the Sega Genesis that were not on the PSP collection, were not on other collections. Streets of Rage, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And we know I like beat-em-ups, so Streets of Rage. Oh, in fact, Streets of Rage and Shining Force, which if you like Fire Emblem, I'm also playing a little bit of Fire Emblem this last week. The Sacred Stones, I think that's Fire Emblem 2, I don't know. But if you like that, Shining Force is as good, if not better. This is the best value in gaming. Speaking of Sega Genesis, the website dorkly.com recently released their user-voted top 25 Sega Genesis games. Now, I had a Sega Genesis. I still have my original Sega Genesis. It's
with
now
your Sega CD.
Yeah, it's now for parts because the cart reader in it went short-circuited and is fried. And it is cheaper for me to just buy another one
than it would be to get it replaced.
I also have my original Sega CD and my original Sega 32X, which I've still managed to hold on to my Star Wars arcade cart, which is the best game. You make a face, but the Mortal Kombat...
No, I remember playing it at your mom's house back in the day.
The Mortal Kombat, I think it's Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega 32X, is the best port of it. It is arcade
because it had more horsepower to play around with.
Yeah, so more junk in the trunk.
Not? Yeah, that's right.
So don't make the face at the 32X.
You know what? It was
the little weird hemorrhaging add-on that could.
Here, your Genesis needs a mushroom.
Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix is better than any Sonic game that has come out since Knuckles Chaotix. So, in the Sonic... Yeah, we'll get into the Sonic mountain of quality.
It's like it starts here, the curve. And then it kind of goes down, and then there was some hope, and then it went back down.
Yeah. But they Dorkly released their top 25 user-voted video games, and the thing is it's math. So you're dealing with a lot of franchises, a lot of things that were popular for people, but there are positions on that list that I do not agree with. For instance, what's game number 25, Dave?
That'd be Phantasy Star 4.
The End of the Millennium.
Yeah.
And Dave, if you were to say what is the greatest RPG on the Sega Genesis, you would say
that would have to be Phantasy Star. Now, if you said all the time, it would be.
And if you were to say what Sega Genesis RPG would end in your top 5 best RPGs of all time?
Well, seeing how there weren't a lot for the Sega, you kind of have some.
No, but like all-time best RPGs, top 5.
Oh, out of all of them, yeah, I'd say Phantasy Star 4 would be up in there. But that was also one of the first RPGs that I played all the way through.
Yes, and I played his copy of it. And then a funny story about me, on the graduation day from college, I went and bought the Sega Genesis that I have now, and the first game I bought for it was Phantasy Star 4. And then, as I was looking for jobs, proceeded to beat it twice. So
that's you had a lot of free time then.
But so they limited the list to one title per franchise, which is unfair because while Phantasy Star 4 is the best Phantasy Star, Phantasy Star 2 is freaking genius.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Phantasy Star 3 we won't talk about.
They skipped a generation. We'll say that.
Yeah. The Generations of Doom.
They forgot how to count. They went 2-4.
Generations of Doom is the generations that you can skip. But Phantasy Star 2 is genius, and it has one of those 11th hour switches, that great twist that is now commonplace in all RPGs to this day, but...
Yeah, back in, 1991?
I think it was Phantasy Star
1 or 2. It's, that was
Phantasy Star 4 has the first time and the best time I remember supporting character that falls in love with your main character. That it feels earned and it feels good. And I know at the end of that game, when that relationship was not revealed, but the twist at the end of Phantasy Star 4 is that everyone really does come together and live happily ever after, and all this it's a very hopeful ending. And there's a moment in that ending where you're like, it's not perfect yet, and then something happens, we won't give it away, and you're like, oh, this is genius, and the good thing is, unlike Final Fantasy, and unlike a lot of other RPGs I can think of, Phantasy Star 1 and 2, and yes, even 3 and 4 all work together.
As one continuous story?
Yeah, as one continuous
because
one world.
The first one starts out at this point, and then a few hundred years or a few thousand years. 2 happens, and then 3. Actually, weren't 2 and 3 almost direct sequels? It was literally one generation between them?
I think so.
And I think 3 to 4 was a few thousand years
I think 3 is happening on different planets while 2 is happening.
Okay.
Because remember, 3 is the one where they bring it back from the sci-fi trappings back to the medieval type thing.
Well, and 4 kind of starts out that way too. It's just monsters in a basement, and then you find out, oh, hey, there's this old dead ancient technology that's not so dead.
And 4 also has there's a great moment in 4 where there's a betrayal, which is the first time that a betrayal happens in an RPG, and I can remember that really struck me well.
Yeah.
But we can't give away too much stuff. Even the battle system in 4 is wonderful. I love the macros, and you can basically set the game up to fight by itself.
Well, yeah, and you could, the whole melding of the different magics, just trying to find new combinations for your guys
what order.
to do.
I remember the first time I had the main character pull off the Grand Cross or something, which is his greatest attack. It's it takes 2 other characters and 1 other character to magic it up. And you can normally do like a normal cross attack, and you spend
like cut or something, and then you throw down some lightning and something else on top of it.
You spend like the first 10 hours of the game using that cross cut on all the bosses, and then you get the new one. And I remember the first time I went up against Dark Force, which is the actual evil
first boss. The first time you kill him.
Yeah, like in the game, it follows the RPG trope of, it wasn't really this guy, it was this guy.
It was this thing.
But the good thing about it is, unlike Final Fantasy, where that all happens at the end of the game, that is progressed throughout the game.
Yeah.
And the first time you leave your home planet and you figure out like, it's this Dark Force thing that humanity and the good races have been fighting like since Phantasy Star 1 has come back, and we need to finally deal with it. There's like a computer morphs and turns into this evil like H.R. Geiger-esque alien thing, and I pulled off Grand Cross, and I remember sitting there like,
holy crap. It was cool. Well, and the final boss fight of that is like, hey, there's like 4 forms of this boss. Good luck. Don't burn through all your pots the first time.
To this day, when I hear Oasis's Champagne Supernova, I think of that boss fight, because that just happened to be playing on a radio in the house when I was doing that.
It was pretty crazy. When we were like 10 or 11 years old playing that game and just going.
Yeah. And then the next game on the list that deserves to be at the top.
Somewhere closer to the top, Shining Force 2.
Yes, Shining Force 2 is...
Sorry, I killed your thunder.
You did. You stole it.
Sorry.
Shining Force 2 is amazing. Shining Force 1 is really good. Shining Force 2 takes everything that's good about Shining Force 1, improves the graphics marginally. It's not the greatest looking Sega Genesis game. But the units, everyone has a story. You feel like the characters in your army are actually characters, which is something Fire Emblem does really well now.
Yeah.
Did not do then.
Yeah.
And it's just great. And the tactics are good and everything. And if you like strategy RPGs and you haven't played a Shining Force game, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
you should.
I've never played a Shining Force game.
Both of the Genesis Shining Forces are on here. And
buy me.
Good luck getting Shining Force CD, because I can't find a copy of it.
I'll have to go digging.
Yeah, it's good. Well, the bad thing about Shining Force CD is that it's the one game that requires you have the RAM backup cart.
Oh, yeah,
which are rare.
Yeah, that's a hard find.
So after Shining Force 2, since you probably don't have a lot to say about Shining Force?
No, I have nothing. I've never played that game.
Shining Force 1 was one of the games that I had with my original Sega Genesis, and never got Shining Force 2 until I was later in college through emulation. Yeah. So after Shining Force 2 on the list... Gunstar. And Gunstar Heroes, if you haven't played it, Gunstar Heroes is developed by Treasure, who were at the time ex-Capcom and Konami developers.
Yeah.
And it's frackin' genius. It is... Mega Man and Contra had a baby, and that baby decided to go over to the Legend of Mystical Ninja Goemon and say, hey buddy, what's up? Where's your weird level design? And Legend of Mystical Goemon said, here, you take a bunch of hits of this, and bam!
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I never played the original version, but we ran through a few levels a couple of months ago over at your house on the PS3 port. And I can imagine that game, playing it when I was littler would make
Sadly, Gunstar is not on here. But it is on the PSN.
And I think it's also on Steam. There's a ton of Sega games on Steam.
Oh, it is so good.
So if you have a controller for your PC, get on that.
Like everything that you hated about Mega Man, every shortcoming you thought Contra had is fixed in Gunstar.
Yeah. It's almost the perfect meld of those two games.
Yeah, unlike Mega Man, you can have 2 weapons at the same time and then meld them together. Like there's a homing shot and a laser shot. And if you get both of those and use them at the same time,
homing laser shots,
it turns into a homing laser shot that literally you just have to hold the button down and the thing runs around the screen and kills everybody.
It just kills everything for you.
In Contra, there was no unlike things like Shock Troopers on the Neo Geo, there was no melee attack. And in Gunstar, you can grab people and throw them, and so there's slide tackles.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool
stuff. So genius. Oh, it's so good. And we're talking about number 23, 24, and 25 as these genius games, these games that Sega people need to own. And my only problem with the list is that these 3 games weren't horrendously popular. If you were into RPGs, you probably had a Super Nintendo and you were playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3 / 4 and 6.
Yeah.
If you liked action games like Gunstar, you were probably playing Contra Hardcore, or Castlevania Bloodlines, which both end up higher on the list
somewhere,
even though Contra Hardcore is really good, it's not as good as Contra 3: The Alien Wars. That's just my opinion. It's not. I think Castlevania Bloodlines is very good, but it's odd to go back and play that now in a post-Symphony of the Night
because Symphony of the Night was
world.
Just crazy.
Which Symphony of the Night is probably one of my favorite games of all time. So playing Castlevania Bloodlines, it's cute. It's not Symphony.
But you have to think, I mean, that was the logical next step from Bloodlines to that was to make it bigger and then to do more with it.
And there's some stuff in Bloodlines that kind of it foreshadows the Symphony of the Night stuff. The big maps, the you're all over Europe stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you an interesting, and the different abilities that each character had.
Yeah.
But it's still, at its base, it's a retro Castlevania game.
Yeah, it's an old school game.
And strategy RPGs just are never popular.
For whatever. Well, because they're
when you talk about Final Fantasy Tactics being like the most popular strategy RPG ever.
If they had called it something other than Final Fantasy Tactics, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, Ogre Battle 64 is really good. It's not great, and I feel Final Fantasy Tactics is better. Disgaea is genius. You need to play Disgaea 1, Disgaea 3. Disgaea 2 you can skip. I haven't played Disgaea 4.
Unless you really want item worlds that never go away.
Yes. Tactics Ogre is genius, but once again, like, no one bought it.
I think you can get that on the PSN.
Probably.
I think so. I think you can get that on the PSN.
There's a Vita version of it that they redid that looks amazing.
Looks way better. Okay. So, that's cool. But yeah,
Yeah. So, and like, there are other things on the list. There's Double Dragon, Battletoads and Double Dragon and
Battletoads.
Where those games are all good.
But they're all basically the same game.
Yeah, people are probably thinking of Double Dragon on the NES.
Yeah, and Battletoads
on the NES. Because those were where those games were really popular.
Because more people had, well, I don't want to say more people, but a lot of people had Super Nintendos.
Yeah.
And Sega's, for whatever reason, the Genesis, I always thought did not look as good as, in some games, did not.
Sonic says what's up.
I understand.
Sonic 3
the Super Nintendo always looked better for me, and I don't know why.
Well, there's a bigger color palette.
Yeah, and that's probably
but it's how both of them handle processing differently. We won't get into that. But let's see, so there are other things like...
So there's Revenge of Shinobi and Ghouls and Ghosts.
Revenge of Shinobi... Yeah. Ghouls and Ghosts, probably not.
But it's not Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah. So once again, they're probably thinking of, I remember Ghosts and Goblins, I remember Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah. And then you already mentioned Contra. Comic Zone, I never
Comic Zone is good until you're an adult.
And then
you realize, hey, there's 3 freaking levels and they're all really hard, and it took me forever to beat this as a kid. But once you beat it, you're like, oh, well, okay,
that's it. Yeah,
X-Men, it was a wonderful idea.
Yeah,
X-Men 2: The Clone Wars is the best X-Men game.
Yeah,
including the arcade. Better than X-Men Arcade.
Even better than what was that? 8-player or 4-player?
It was 6.
4 to, we'll say 4 to 8. I don't remember. I remember there being able,
Colossus, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Dazzler, Wolverine.
Jean Grey wasn't.
No, not Jean Grey. Iceman?
Rogue? No, it wasn't Rogue. I don't remember. Yeah, but
it was someone no one ever played, apparently, because even I knew Dazzler.
Yeah.
The Disco Superstar.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good from what I remember.
But X-Men 2: The Clone Wars is genius. It's the Phalanx Covenant storyline, adapted kind of sort of iffy, and you eventually get to play Magneto. And Magneto, when you get Magneto as a character, the game totally changes because of his power set.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I never got that far into it. I think I only played.
It's definitely better than the first X-Men game on Sega.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of X-Men games.
So let's see what else. What else is on the list?
We got Altered Beast.
Altered Beast does not deserve to be on the list. Sorry.
No. Well, and wasn't it? It was a launch title.
It was the original pack-in title for the system. So it was very popular. It was very easy to find, and the Genesis version is close to arcade perfect. But you can, I'm sure the arcade version is on this.
Yeah, we played through it in one afternoon.
Yeah, you can spend an afternoon playing it if you want. But there's better Sega arcade titles. There's better Sega Genesis titles.
The original. What?
Alter Beast.
Yeah.
You start the game, it goes.
Oh yeah. Rise from your grave. Toe Jam
Early '90s arcade. Toe Jam and Earl, I never got into. And also, I think the Cap Attack is on there. Isn't the Cap Attack the same developer?
No, it's not on here. Toe Jam and Earl, I loved.
The Cap Attack is on here.
Me and my brother played the crap out of Toe Jam and Earl, and I don't think we ever beat the original Toe Jam and Earl. We beat Panic on Funkatron.
Yeah.
But we tried playing through ToeJam and Earl, I think 30 or 40 times on the non-random mode.
For those of you who don't really remember or didn't know, ToeJam and Earl was the space levels that were all randomized.
Well, there was 2 modes. You could have either
pre-Diablo.
Yeah, pre-Diablo randomization, and they were, I don't want to say they were completely random, but they were pretty crazy. Sometimes you would come up and the next door is right there and you just go.
Yeah. And sometimes it's 3 hours later and you can't find it.
Yeah, you've got like 8 levels.
It's the problem with random levels.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun, I always had a blast playing that game.
What else we got?
After ToeJam and Earl was The Lion King.
Lion King's good.
Yeah.
That was the first. That wasn't the first. That was one of the Disney Studios and Sony produced games.
And it was
the post-Capcom Disney era, which is good, but I like the Capcom era.
I never really got into the Disney.
Aladdin is a standout, though, and I bet Aladdin's on the list.
Yeah, it's number 5.
Keep going.
Double Dragon, which we've already mentioned, and then Battletoads Double Dragon. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Having played both of those, both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis version, people are probably remembering the Super Nintendo version.
I've never played either,
more
so
fondly.
I don't know.
Better music in the Super Nintendo version, of course.
Well, yeah. Golden Axe.
Yeah, I would go with Golden Axe. I wouldn't go with Golden Axe 2 or 3. Those are on here just for posterity's sake. Don't ever play them.
Don't play them. We already talked about Bloodlines, Castlevania Bloodlines. NBA Jam TE. Tournament edition.
I go for NBA Jam. I grew up, a little bit of background, I grew up in Chicago in the early to mid-90s when Midway was at its peak.
Yeah.
And I remember going to specific arcades because they just dropped the NBA Jam cabinet there, or they just had one of the test Mortal Kombat cabinets.
Out there just,
Which Mortal Kombat's also on this list.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
But yes, so the NBA Jam in Chicago in the early 90s was the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and everybody was playing the Bulls because it was Chicago.
The Bulls.
But there was no Michael Jordan, was there? Was he in
Tournament Edition? Yes.
Okay.
Because that also had Scottie Pippen. I remember playing both
of them.
it
was Jordan Pippen in one, but eventually it got to the point where they couldn't use his likeness anymore.
Yes, because he had his own game.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Hyperstone Heist.
The lesser cousin of Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
I remember playing it vaguely, but maybe I'm thinking of Turtles in Time. Because
the levels are very similar.
Yeah, they're more or less the same game. Battletoads, already talked about. Streets of Rage 2.
Which I don't agree with that's the best Streets of Rage game. I like the music in 3,
I think that's probably the one I played the most.
3 has the kangaroo.
Yeah, it does have the kangaroo. That's probably the one I played the most, probably because I think my cousins had it, and we spent a lot of time hanging out with them.
Streets of Rage 1 was okay, but Streets of Rage 2, it kind of came to its prime, and Streets of Rage 3 was a redefinition of what the prime was.
Yeah. Okay.
If you like Final Fight, beat 'em up type stuff, Streets of Rage is awesome.
Okay.
Great music.
Yeah, it's a good.
Some of the best music on the
game.
system.
And then they had Aladdin.
Yeah. Which is better than the Super Nintendo version.
Because you have a sword.
I won't normally dive down against Capcom, but I will dive down against Capcom on the Aladdin debate.
Okay. Mortal Kombat 2.
The best Mortal Kombat. But once again, the version on this 32X is better.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing. This list does not include any Sega CD games or any Sega 32X games.
But this was,
because if we
was strictly supposed to be a Sega Genesis game.
Yeah. If we had the best Sega games, period, there would be a lot of RPGs in there from the Sega CD.
There would be, like Dark Wizard and all that. Super Street Fighter 2, which I had.
Yes, I had Super Street Fighter 2.
When you first meet, T-Hawk,
Cammy, T-Hawk, DJ, and Fei Long.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I remember blistering the crap out of my thumbs on
that. That was one of the things as a young kid in Chicago coming down against Midway and against Mortal Kombat for the Japanese game was not popular.
No, but, Street Fighter.
But, history won out.
Yeah, Street Fighter's still around. I mean, Mortal Kombat just came back, but who knows if they're going to make Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah, well, it just came back. I mean, there was the PS2 games, but when I think of fighting games in the PS2 era, I think of Tekken.
Yeah,
because,
and they also released, I think it was Mortal Kombat 4 came out on the N64.
Yeah.
And it was not that great.
Mortal Kombat Ultimate, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those CD systems weren't built for fighting games because they had to load the sprites in and stuff.
Yeah, but it was still pretty good.
Next.
And then Earthworm Jim.
Yes, Earthworm Jim.
The original Earthworm Jim, not
I would
Earthworm
say
Jim
2. 2 is better.
Yeah, 2 is better. They were brutally
did one
hard,
have
though.
Did one have the bungee jump scene in it? The bungee jump mini game. I love the No, I think that was 2. 2 had the bungee jump mini game. I love that game.
Because I remember 1 was like a tube shooter. The mini game in that one.
Yeah.
It was a tube shooter. But it was brutal.
Like it's super hard. And Tommy Tallarico did the music. So he was still kicking around.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, of course, number 1 is the entire Sonic series.
Number 1 with a bullet, Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course. What's your favorite Sonic game? Not on the Sega CD, not on the Saturn, not on the Dreamcast.
But I like Sonic.
Notice how I didn't say anything after the Dreamcast, because if anyone tells you that their favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game is Sonic Unleashed, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, or Sonic Generations,
or Sonic 4,
feel free to slap them in the face, because they're a liar and they're lying to you.
I think I liked Sonic and Knuckles with Sonic 3, where you can play through 3 and drop straight into Sonic and Knuckles.
That is my and I mentioned this on Twitter. If those 2 games did not have to be separated, that would be the best Sonic game.
Yeah, and it would be.
Because halfway through development of Sonic 3, they had all these levels. They figured out we're not going to get this all out for Christmas. We got to double down and cut it in half. Sonic 3 came out at Christmas. They went back to it and they made Sonic and Knuckles.
And you can tell, like, maybe if I'm remembering this wrong, but you can sort of tell with Sonic 3, that was the plan a good chunk of the time, where you could play as Knuckles and tear through levels in different ways, because there was a wall you could destroy with Knuckles, but not with Sonic.
Or you could climb part of it.
And there were jumps that you couldn't make with Knuckles because he only jumped about 3/4 as high and whatnot. And he wasn't.
The thing I've always liked about Sonic 2 through Sonic and Knuckles is if you play those games, they all lead into each other, which you don't normally get for platformers. Well, at the end of Sonic 2, you're Super Sonic. You're riding on the biplane, Tails. The beginning of Sonic 3,
you're riding on the biplane, and then you get hit by Knuckles. And
Knuckles steals all the gems. You have to get them again.
Yeah. And
you don't normally get that with platformers.
No. Well, now you do. Ish.
Yeah. Kind of.
Look at Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
They all kind of work together. I mean, it's not. It's less uncommon now than it was back then. Because the Mario games are all different.
Yep. Okay, so we both agree that Sonic the Hedgehog 3
should be on that.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Are genius.
I don't think they should have done the Sonic series. I think, like with everything else.
Well, if they didn't do the Sonic series, the rundown list would have been, Sonic
1, 2, 3, 4,
Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and 4, or if people would have downvoted Sonic 3 and 4, and Sonic 2 would have ended up on top. Because I think Sonic 2 was where it reached its peak of popularity. Most people had that cart.
Well, yeah, because it came as a pack-in for a while, too.
After Sonic 1, Sonic 2.
Yeah. It came in. And then I think right at the tail end of its life cycle, I think they started throwing Sonic 3.
Well, that's had like the Sonic Sport, the Sega Sports version that had Madden.
There was a whole bunch.
I'm very happy Madden didn't make the list.
I am too. Although I have really fond memories of playing Madden 95 and...
you mean the last Madden I could play?
Yeah. The ones that, didn't require a lot of precision and whatnot. But yeah, I always hung out at my cousin's house, and it was either we're playing Streets of Rage or we're playing Madden or something like that. So.
Okay, so now we're on the edge here, and we're going to close up the show, but I want you to ask you one question. Your favorite game on any Sega platform?
Any Sega platform?
Any Sega platform. Master System, or if you have
anywhere,
one, SG-1000.
No, I never had
all the way to Dreamcast.
If I had to say, I don't know. I spent a lot of time with my Dreamcast. When I could get Phantasy Star Online to work, it was really good. And I am stoked that they're going to come out with Final Phantasy Star 2, Online 2 here in the US.
Yes. PC eventually. And Vita and high-end cell phones.
They have not said officially that they're going to put it on the Vita yet.
That would be a mistake for everyone involved.
Seeing how there's nothing else on the Vita, they got to do something with it. But I think they want to see how it goes when they release it in the US. I don't agree with the fact that they're going to have to wait until like next year to release it. But it's going to be free to play, so I'll probably at least throw down on it for a little while.
So Phantasy Star Online is your number 1. What's your number 2?
Fantasy Star 4.
Phantasy Star 4. I think this is probably pretty easy for everybody on any Sega platform. My 2 loves are going to be Lunar, the Silver Star Story at number 1, and Lunar Eternal Blue.
But I didn't ever have a Sega CD. I didn't play Lunar until I got a PS1, and they redid the complete version.
My favorite non-Lunar game is Dark Wizard.
Which is also on the Sega CD.
Which is also on the Sega CD, which is a strategy RPG, which was developed by some of the team that did Shining Force.
Yeah.
It looks light years better than Shining Force ever looked. It's a hex-based map.
Yeah.
The units are way deeper. The only thing you lose from Shining Force is that you don't have the story for every character. Because a lot of your army is just generic fighter.
Here's Footman, go die.
You have your main character. You can select from 1 to 4 main characters.
You have your general, essentially.
A general, and then each of those generals has 2 sub-characters that they all have a story that interacts.
Yeah, and then there was anime cutscenes with each set.
As there was in most Sega CD games.
Yeah, well, you had a disc. Why not? Yep. Got to fill that space with something.
Worst Sega game you ever played on a Sega platform. And there are some bad ones.
Oh my, yeah, there are a lot. God, the first X-Men game that came out, I cannot. Like I think I rented it. I rented it and took it back. I was like, I can't play this.
There's a lot of points in that game where I'm just like, I can't even see what I'm doing and I'm dying. So whatever.
Yeah. I can't. I probably block them out, and that's probably good that I've done
that. Sewer Shark.
Yeah.
Sewer Shark is there's an ongoing debate. What's worse than Night Trap? Sewer Shark. A lot of the full motion video games are very bad for the Sega CD.
They were not good.
And I think I would, if I was on a desert island and someone said, Andy, you have the choice between Sewer Shark
and Night Trap
or shooting yourself in the face, I'd shoot myself in the face. And they said, well, if you shoot yourself in the face and you don't die, you still have to play one of these games. I would spend all my time
playing Night Trap.
Because Sewer Shark is just not
Night Trap
great.
was terrible.
There was a reason it was a packing game. Sorry.
Yeah, it was not good.
We love the Sega Genesis. Next time we'll be talking about the Super Nintendo.
Oh, they have one for the Super NES?
Nope, but we will be making one.
Oh boy.
Surprise! Right. So we will be talking about our top 10 Super Nintendo titles. Each of us will submit 10.
Okay.
You can think of 10.
I can think of 10. I just have to remember them.
So yes, don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon. Have a nice week.